that way. We had to load it back up. Okay, so this right here is, as you can see, I've got some lag going on. Come on, there it goes. Okay, so this is the actual world that I've carved out. I mean, as you can see right here, this spot right here was actually the start for the where I started. You know, I go all the way up. I'll go up there in a second. So let's actually start with the first few builds here. Now, well, let's start over here. Over here, actually, this is the first thing you saw. Now, this right here was originally going to be is what I call the Hall of Farms. I was basing it. The inspiration for that was the I think it was a Song of Fire and Ice with the place of 1,000 hearts, I think is what it's called. But it was originally I was going to design as multiple halls of farms with like these beams stretched all across there with like everything in there. It did kind of didn't fulfill that. I mean, right here I've got carrots, potatoes. Um, then I've got some tomatoes, broccoli, eggplant, garlic, more broccoli, onion, rice seeds, etc. I actually really did like this design. I wish I did more with it, but I kind of got distracted by other things. You'll see what I mean later. These right here are just standard terracotta blocks, I believe. I just chiseled them down to do that. There is water underneath these stumps that's spreading out, so that's how they're growing. And then over here is, of course, we have wheat. Originally, this whole thing was nothing but wheat, but I kind of made it smaller. Then right over here we have melons and pumpkins along with my iron golem. I've got several of these guys wandering around because I think they're cool. And you can see right here I was originally going to do something with here, but I didn't, never actually completed it. I like the way it looks. So let's come over here and we take a left. You can see where I'm growing cacti. And it's just water and sand. I always forget to use the SNAD, SAND. SNAD grows things, cacti much faster than a regular stand. I always forget about it till later. This right here is where I basically making mushrooms. This is my mushroom farm. In case you didn't know, if you have witch water, and if you get a bucket of witch water and then you put it in here on mycelium, it will start turning into witch water and it will also generate mushrooms around it. That's the trash can for getting rid of the witch water because I don't need it. Over here is basically it's an apiary. You use this to get honeycombs. I needed wax. Yeah, pressed wax. You get to use honeycombs, grub, larva. It uses no power, so it's actually a fairly easy method of getting some food because it is part of Hans Harvest Craft, and it is something of a challenge to do. Now, I in this pack I would like to point out that I have not cheated in anything. Everything in here, well, there is two exceptions, and I will explain those two exceptions when I get to them. But everything in here you're seeing, everything I have created, all the designs I have made by hand. I said I didn't cheat. There is a couple things. I'll explain those here in a minute when I get up there. But the everything originally I did make him up here. Now we'll go up there in a second. This over here, this is just this is my first storage area that I made. Just standard crates, chest, project bench, couple of basic drawers for stone and gravel, my bed, trash can. Now I'm a big fan of doing things automation, so to get stuff stuck out. So I have a trash can with a conduit transfer pipe going into a. It's basically this is a chest. It goes into a trash can. And then of course we have here is a fishing pole and I think that's a yeah it's a brush hook crook. And then over here we have what basically is my smeltery. This was I think this was actually my first big project I made was when I made this one. As you can see right here, I've got everything. I like put the controller up there at the top. I don't know why, but yeah, this was my smeltery. I have a standard ingot spout right here. I have over here a block spout. It's set it up automatically run whenever. Basically, this is a timer. It runs, it makes a block, it gets pulled into here. This is my chest for my castings. These are beacon beams. I will tell you about the beacons here in a second. Now, if you come over here, up this ladder, this is basically my auto lava generator for the fuel. We have right here, there's a cobblestone generator going into a crucible, over top a block of uranium to be melted down. Uranium is one of the better blocks. It does it at times 20, and it basically it generates it far faster than I can ever use it. So there's that. Over here is these were my early versions of getting ender pearls. I got some ender lilies from mob drops chests. This right here is if you're not familiar with stoneblock, you basically you start off you have to sieve. Is it sieve or sieve? Whatever. Basically, you have to sieve everything in here using various types of mesh. This is different iron mesh. These are right here. I've also got it set up to be working with water power, so I don't actually have to stand there and click it. It does it automatically. Yeah, see. Go ahead, I'm going to take off. Okay, I don't have anything. Right, see what I mean? If I just... Okay, that's not what I'm supposed to do. Well, what it's supposed to do is... Oh, wait, hold on. Let me get some gravel here real quick. I think I got some over here. Yeah. See? It does it automatically. Though it does take it a little bit of time. See how it's going down there? Basically, you do that and it just auto sieves it automatically. This is a vacuum hopper I also got from a mob drop. I'll show you my mob spawner here in a second. And basically it sucks it up, puts it in here, and I come in here and get everything I want. As you can see, I outgrew that very, very quickly. And it should, why is it not sucking that up? That should be sucking that up. Well, as you can see, it gives me stuff right there. So, moving on, we have, of course, my water pool. This right here is what I was using to make stuff like netherrack, stuff that needs lava. Again, I have, there's a Awakened Draconian block. I have a cobblestone generator, top tier one. It does it like every tick, I think. Then it comes into a hopper, comes in the crucible, and the equipping, which is 120x rate. So this stuff is working constantly. I have it going up into a drum, which was then either being both sucked out of here and into this stone barrel right here, so I can make stuff like netherrack. And then it's also going up into that ender tank right there. I will show you the other side of that ender tank here in a minute. This is Avarita armor, Infinity armor. I've got like these are actually one of the things I was talking about cheating in. The first set of Avarita armor I actually made by hand. I did the grind. I made everything up there, but the other sets I decided I've already made it once. I can go ahead and just cheat them in. For some strange reason, I have yet to figure out the helmet does not go on straight. It always comes over here on the side. I have yet to figure out why. And then over here, this was actually originally where I had set up my my water mills for. Yeah, I've got draconic armor on. This is where I set up the water mills to get a GP. I've since moved them. These are markets. One's for Pams, one's for farming for blockheads. This is where you can get seeds, and they're actually fairly useful because you can get all kinds of stuff in here. Great. Yeah, I mean most everything in here costs is like one emerald or so. Going down that leads to bedrock. That way leads up to the top. The way you get to other dimensions, like to the mining dimension, to the end, is you have to go to the top of the world. Okay, so coming over here is we have just a standard diamond chest. It was one of my storage. This is an alchemy bag. There's nothing in it. I used to have all my tools in here. Speaking of all my tools, these are all my tools. Basically, I had everything in here in my alchemy bag. Drawer keys. Then I have my chisel and bits and my micro blocks. This section right here, up right here, is what I use to for building. Then I've got tools, um, various potions, and botania, books, and my things I use the most often. So, I mean, right here I've got the divine sword. That was a mob drop I got. I've never actually used it. The party pickaxe, again, a mob drop. I have like 3 or 4 of those floating around here somewhere. The chicken stick. This is Quake. He basically whenever I make a, it's become something of a tradition of mine. Whenever I do tinkers, I make there's fissure and there's Quake, and I always make those two. Then I have diamond shears, iron shovel with botanical and ecological on there with silk touch. I was using that to get cursed earth. That was my first sword. Then I made this sword, and then finally I got the draconic stuff of power, which is totally awesome, by the way. Draconic, and I got draconic bow, draconic pickaxe, shovel, axe, water can. These things are super useful, by the way. You need to get one of those. Regular bucket. I've got like half a dozen buckets floating around. My dank null, which is again super useful, especially if you're digging up a lot of stuff like cobble that you don't need anymore. It's super useful. Now, we have the Terra Blades, Dark Caller, and the Thunder Caller. Those are used by high tier Botania items. They are relatively expensive, but they are nice. However, by the time I actually got around to making them, I had better gear from Draconic. Flared Chakrams, those are one of my favorite Botania items. We have the Longbow of the Heavens. It's not as powerful as the Draconic Bow, but the Draconic Bow I've also souped up a little bit. We have the Skullfire Sword from Avarita that is basically helps you get Wither skull heads, and the Sword of the Cosmos, which is basically a kill command. Moving on over here, we have Botania stuff. I mean, Mana Tablet, Mana Tablet. I don't know what this Pinkinator is. I've never been able to figure that out. These right here are again high tier items from Botania. These are actually what you get for killing the Gaia Spirit V2. They drop them. They're super nice. Uh, yeah, the Ring of Thor, Ring of Loki, Ring of Odin, Eye of Flugel, and the Fruit of Grisaya, and the Key of the King's Law, which is absolutely hilarious if you understand where it's coming from. Blood pendants, basically potions, more potions, cloaks, Wand of Accelerations, Time in a Bottle, which is, if you never had a Time in a Bottle, it's a poor man's version of an acceleration wand and extremely helpful. Ultimate Stew, Staff of Traveling. Actually, I need to get that one too. My various network tools. I'm going to grab that one so I can show you exactly what I did. Watch a Flowing Time. Basically, Antidote Charm, Evertide, Volcanic, Repair Talismans, Alchemical Chest, Recorder, Phantom Connector, etc., etc. Now, um, these items right here, the Fruit of Grisaya, that's basically, it's an infinite apple. It never goes away. Ring of Thor, Ring of Loki, Ring of Odin, they allow you to do like Ring of Loki allows you to do multiple hits at the same time. The Eye of Flugel is, I think it allows you to fly. Mystical items. No. Is it in here? No. Ah, here they are. Yeah, the Eye of Flugel. Okay, that it basically allows you to teleport. Sorry, and it also allows the Flugel Tiara to allow you to fly faster. Um, King of the King's Law. I'll get to that here in a second. I find it absolutely hilarious. Ring of Loki allows you to be basically affect two things at once. Ring of Odin allows you to the Vitality and Resistance. Basically, when you put that on, you get 10 extra hearts. You see, however, right here, it'll make them orange, which is extra hearts. And it basically does it keeps you from drowning. You don't need to breathe, and you don't need to eat while doing that. And the Ring of Thor allows you to do the air effect for like when you're mining with a Terra Shatterer. Okay, so um, coming up here now, we'll get to the key of the King's Law here in a second. Now we have right here some of my beginning Thaumcraft. I never actually got too far in here. I was just too far into other things to start doing Thaumcraft. Then we have here is Psy. Now, I'll be honest, I do not like Psy. I tried it. It makes no sense to me. I could not understand it. I just did enough to get basically side metal. I'll show you why here in a minute. Then we go down here, this long corridor. This is actually my wither spawner. This is where I fight and kill withers. This is reinforced stuff. Wither muffler. This is where I make small TNT for singularities. Wait, am I going the right way? Yeah. Now this comes over here and pops you out right here. This is my um, mob spawner. And now, granted, it is a very bare bones mob spawner, and it's probably I could definitely do better, but it was like at the time I was working with limited resources, and I kind of just didn't need to make it super efficient. But like I said, this whole thing could be redone. Now, this is Cursed Earth. If you don't know what Cursed Earth is, it basically allows you to spawn almost instantly as long as it's dark. Then we've got fans. I've got, I think it's, which one is the fan control? Oh yeah, it's 3. Yeah, so there's 3 controls in here. One controls the lights, one controls the fans, and the other one controls this item right here. This is witch water. Yeah, see this, that one? That controls the fans. Basically, it pushes everything up over here onto that right there. That's a player trap. It does damage to everything that touches on it as if it was a player. This right here, that controls witch water. Witch water, if you don't know, if you submerge like skeletons in it, it will make them wither skeletons. It makes creepers charge creepers, skeletons into wither skeletons, etc. I have a dispenser over here. You have to do it twice to get it to work. I have a dispenser in here with a bucket of witch water, and that's how I do it. The blocks, the panels or slabs are used to keep spiders from spawning, because I don't much care for spiders. I don't know who does. Do that, and then comes in here. This is an ender hopper. Basically, it sucks everything up here and puts it into this chest. As you can see, it has been working. Now, I don't really need it anymore since everything in here I can make by myself. But it was originally useful. Experience. Oh, yeah, this right here, these loot chests right here, that was where I got like the some of those items, like the ender hopper or that vacuum chest or the blocks of uranium, stuff like that. Now it comes over here. I had originally set it up. One second. Okay, sorry about that. But yeah, that's where I got like these loot, loot crates right here. That's where I got a lot of those items that you were seeing earlier, like the ender hopper, the block of the drums, the hopper chest. A lot of these hoppers themselves. Again, I have it coming over here to a trash can because most of the stuff in here is junk. I have it keeping epics, rares, and drops of evil, along with wither skeleton skulls, I believe. And of course, I have manual entry right there. So moving on. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Now, one of the main things that I designed when I was building this base was I wanted it to be basically I wanted to build vertically as opposed to horizontally. So this right here is basically is an elevator. So let's start with the bottom and go and work our way up. I'm actually rather proud of this elevator. It took me a bit of trial and error to get it working right. Okay, this is like it says, this is bedrock. Um, and you can see right here, this is the elevator, screen controller, screen, power. This is what I was using to make Blocks of Infinity. This is actually the corresponding ladder to the one we saw earlier. not blocks of infinity, grains of infinity. Basically, when you set the bedrock on fire, it has a chance of making grains of infinity. And again, yeah, I have the auto vacuum hopper going into an ender chest. I'll show you the other side of that here later, but basically it does it. It sucks up everything into here, which goes into here, which then gets deposited into the storage system. As you can see right here, was originally designing, had anticipated to do two sides of this thing, but I found that one was more than enough. So moving on to our next one is beacon. Now, if you look at the upper right corner, you'll see that I have 4 beacon effects. Um, that's because I have four max size beacons. Uh, yeah, everything in here I put in naturally. I didn't cheat this in, but I'm actually a little bit upset because I messed up the sizing of my beacons slightly. Because I had the alignment off, and I didn't realize it till it was too late. See right here? It's one smaller than it should be. It's one bigger than it should be. I don't even remember which one I was originally trying to offset. I think it was this one over here. I miscalculated on. I think it was this one. But yeah, one of them got set up so it was bigger than it was supposed to be, and it made my alignment off. Okay, so go back up to main level. Okay, now then let's go up into the main level. Now this right here was my original. This is where I started working on everything. I'm actually really pleased with the way this turned out because it looks absolutely gorgeous in my opinion. I was going for a, you know, a spaceship dash, secret lab type of design. I think it actually worked out really good. I love the way these blocks came out. I have over here an anvil, an enchanter. Um, these are experienced pylons. At one point in time, these entire things were all filled up the whole time. These are my quick teleports. We'll be going there shortly. So let's go ahead and start with actually probably my first major build, which was this one right here, the Biolab. Time since last outbreak, 5 minutes, 37 seconds. I love those doors, by the way. They're so cool. Now, this right here is basically chickens. Lots and lots of chickens. I said that I created everything manually. Well, I did. If you count chickens as being created manually. This right here, this is where I was breeding new chickens. Watch a flowing time on a dark pedestal to make it work faster. Those were not fun to make. And then over here I have my original hatchery. Then there's a small network, separate network right here. I have all my extra chickens in here that I don't really need. As you can see, I've been kind of busy. And yeah, it's just a small network. I'll go over here to the botanical lab here in a second. And then we go into this is the actual chicken area. There was originally I was originally planning on doing basically doing every chicken in the game, and that's like 130 chickens I think. So I got bored. We have dyes. Then we have blaze rods, lapis, redstone, glowstone. I was originally planning on doing like every chicken 3 times, so it was like three lapis, 3 redstone, 3 glowstone, 3 nether quartz, 3 blaze rods. Of doing that for every chicken. It didn't pan out quite the way I was looking for. Then we have over here string, log, snowball, sand, soul sand, glass, nether wart, bone meal, diamond, emerald, ender pearl, prismarine, crystals, prismarine shards, gold, silver. I think this is right here is where I actually started doing. I realized that it was a bad idea to try to do every 3 of everything because we got dark steel, silver. Why are those 2 messed up? Those should be. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Electrical steel, steel, iron. But yeah, it was originally supposed to go on like another 4 or 5 bays, and I couldn't do it. Lava, water, gas tier, silicon, graphite, yellorium, uranium. I mean, I think it was this one right here where I decided that no, I just couldn't do it. So I have the most common things in here, but there's quite a few things I don't have. Blizzrod, XP, Elementium, Invar, Mana Steel, Cyanite. Yeah. I have it hooked up so it pulls that powder mountain. That's Fred. Say hi, Fred. And this also offers access into the lower levels. Basically, this is where everything gets sucked up in the maintenance, and also access to the back parts of the chickens. It's very, very cramped because I missed just the sizing. And I have travel anchors everywhere. So yeah. So everything is pulled out. They get pulled out into these roost collectors. As you can see, I also have watches back here too. This one actually has an extra one. You can't see the cocoa brown. That way to make them go faster if need be. I have most of them turned off because actually I think I have all my watches turned off because they cause, when they're active, they cause a tremendous amount of lag. We're going to go down into the bottom level here in a minute once we get to the, so we come over here. And then right here, this is Botanical Lab. This is for, you guessed it, plants. I have tree farms right here. I think one of these is, I think this is dragon fruit, peppercorn, I believe. This is ender pearls. Actually, this is ender pearls, chorus fruit, and chorus flowers. But this is where I'm making Def. I'm actually really pleased with that. The way when I originally designed this one in here, I was wanting to make it look like it's a lab testing environment. It's supposed to be obviously not real, but it's supposed to be looking like it is trying to be the outside world. I actually think I achieved that really well with the way the sky looks, the ceiling looks with that, and I love these luminous blocks right here. They don't have any edges on them. They don't have any depth on them, so they just look beautiful. And I love my trees I made. But yeah, most of these trees, it's just inverted lamps with curtains, and this access points to the back end of the system. Now this one right here is just for mystical. What the hell are these things making? Essence in front of essence. There's farmers behind this one, and then over here this leads into basically another farm growing sugar cane. There's a farmer. This one over here is growing skystone, farmer. And this one over here is growing Certus, again with a farmer. I originally planned to do something with this a little bit more impressive, but I kind of got bored with it and moved on. And then this, well, we'll talk about that thing here in a second. This is leads into Botanica, Botania, yeah, Botania. Now this is where I was doing my Botania stuff. Like you see here, I got a bunch of Endoflames. I got a Elf Portal, Elfheim Portal, I believe. Uh, Terra Steel making thingamabob, mana pools, runic altar, potions. This is my energy condenser Mark II. I put that in here because I was tired of having to keep constantly making everything. Flower petals, floral fertilizer for making more. You get these stuff, these wills things by killing the guardian. This is the main chest, and basically everything in here is what you need to make is the building materials for almost everything involving Botania items. It's building materials. And moving on over to this one, I love these draconic portals. These things are so cool. This leads into what is basically the battleground for fighting the Gaia Guardian. And it's basically, as you can see, I've got feral lanterns all over the place. Keep it from spawning. This is where I do it. Now, let's talk about the key. Now that we're here and we're open space, let's talk about the key of the King's Law. This thing is so cool. What the? Oh, I don't have any mana. Oh. Okay, now this thing right here, this is basically a quick, it's a teleporter. allows you to move around like really fast, and it is super nice. So let's pull out that mana tablet here real quick, and okay, this thing is so cool. Now the reason why I thought this was funny because there is an anime. If you're not familiar with it, it's called Fate slash Stay Night or Fate slash whatever. There's like 3 or 4 versions of it. It's like Fate slash Stay Night, Fate slash Stay Order, etc., etc. But there's a guy in there called Gilgamesh, whose ability is literally this. Basically, whenever he summons up, he brings stuff like this. He throws weapons at you just like that, and I thought it was absolutely hilarious because it is actually one of my favorite animes. It's great. Okay, so and when I first saw what it did, I was just I was horribly amused. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this stuff back up. We don't need those. Don't need those. Now let's see here. Britannia boss right there. So we're done with this section. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Oh, you weren't supposed to see those. Ignore that. Alright, so coming over here. I love those doors, by the way. Now, I'm actually not clicking. I have invisible dark pressure plates, which are silent, in front of everything to act as a redstone signal, so it can turn on and open. Okay, let's see here. I don't want to do power yet. Let's go over here into Sorge. Now, this one right here is probably my favorite build. I'm very pleased with the way this turned out. I was aiming for like with a storage warehouse type of thing, and it worked out fabulous. I love the way it looks. Now, right here you can see I have dyes, I have wood, various metals, more various metals, more wood, grains of infinity, and slime. I have essences right here. Like there's Certus quartz, skystone. Then we have insanium, prosperity, cacti, water bottles, more slime. Then we have rare materials. I have like dirt, and stone, gravel, stone, or cobblestone. Then we have charcoal, coal, graphite, uranium, silicon, prismarine tears and crystals, gas tears. Then we have lapis, uh, blaze, emerald, redstone, glowstone, diamond, and ender pearls and certus quartz. And then we have some of the minor ones: obsidian, drops of evil, conduit binder, clay. To do that, like I said, I'm very pleased to how this thing turned out. I like the way it looks. Then we have more rare materials over here. Of course, this whole thing became obsolete once I made this monstrosity over here. Yeah. So right here, I have everything hooked up into the ME system. So yeah, everything in here, this whole thing is obsolete. This is the cyber brain. This is what we're using to basically act as our ME storage system. And as you can see here on the back walls, I kind of overdid it. Each and every one of these is a 64K drive. It's full of 64K drives. There is going to be no way that I'm ever going to you're going to fill this thing up. As you can see right here, I mean, I've been playing this for, ages. I haven't even gotten out of the first drive yet. But yeah, 64 storage cells all over the place. Same thing on this side, except for this row right here. This is fluid. This holds water, lava, and jelly cryotheum. But yeah, there is no way you're ever gonna fill this thing up. And of course I have another one of these things that's just random access. This is my P2P tunnels. As you can see right down here, the cyber brain is huge. And complete overkill. I'll go down here in a second to show you more of that. This is the I/O port. Then we have the security bench. I'm actually really pleased how this thing turned out. Then over here is we have the crafting, the assemblers. And basically, this is to allow crafting. Again, I'm pleased the way it turned out. It comes over here. It was designed to be expandable. I was originally planning on having like 3 more of these things, like three on each side of the same size. I was originally planning that, but I decided that since I have yet to even fill up one of these, I don't need to make another one. So moving on, we actually have the crafting units right here. I have 32. The bottom one's a 32K uh, right here, and then the top with another 32K, another 32K, and then I have a couple of these 128s right here on top. Now I probably could make all of them 128s, but I just didn't feel the need of it. There's the singularity. It connects it over to the other side of the base. There's actually two singularities. Quantum link rings. What are they called? Hell, I can't remember. Let's see here. Here it is. Yeah. Okay, so we are actually now underneath the main floor. If you come over here, you can see I have it labeled everything labeled. This section over here comes over to my chickens. I have them color coded. That way I know which way they're going. There's an access point over here to Fred somewhere. There was one anyway. It's probably over here. No? Oh well, it doesn't matter. But yeah, this right here, it leads. This over here comes over to my mystical crops. With the sugarcane, crystal, Certus quartz, and skystone. As you can see, I was kind of in a rush and I didn't necessarily care about doing it now. This right here is where it's processing mystical essence. I had a problem with the conduits, not conduits. Hell, what are they called? Item pipes. Transfer nodes. Yeah, I had a problem with the transfer nodes. It kept wanting to crash the game, so I ended up using Ender IO pipe conduits. I'm not entirely too sure why that was the case. I haven't been able to figure it out, but I'm not going to lose sleep over it. So moving on, as you can see right here, it is pulling from over the mystical crops, coming into is making infernum into prudentium into intermedium, intermedium into superium, superium into supremium, and then supremium into insanium, which is then being pumped back out into the system. So now we've got that taken care of. Let's go take a look at this monstrosity right here. This is the cyber brain. This is complete overkill. This is actually 2 networks put into one, and I wanted to see if it was possible to make it work. FYI, it is possible to make it work. Granted, it needs quite a bit of upkeep. Now, each and every one of these, I could actually add another color on here if I wanted to, using the bottom, but I decided that I have green, blue, and red. That 3 colors was enough. Because see, each and every one of these faces is 32 channels. I have popped P2P channel plates on there. That way, so I can suck it out and bring 32 channels to wherever I want to go. This is complete overkill, by the way. You do not need this. I just wanted to see if it was possible to make it work. I was able to make it work, by the way. See right here? This is showing the active P2P connections. I'm not even using, I don't think I'm using 10 of them, and it's enough for all my machines. Yeah, channel mode. If you look at this, you can actually see the breakdown of the channels. See right here, this one right here is coming over here to those channels. He's eating those. That one's coming over there to the crafter units. Those are going to the storage. There's actually the singularities aren't working at the moment. I gotta fix those. But yeah, see the bottom half right here. This is the actual network connections. That's actually what the machines are talking to. This top one right here is what I'm referring to as the upper lobe. That is actually the the network hub, because the bottom one is data. This one right here is top. And the way it works, if you take a look at it, you'll notice I actually don't have any of everything on here is connected to the they're not connected directly together. They're connected via PDP plates. There is no direct connection between this one and this one. It's connected to the see, these PDP plates are actually on this one right here. So that's why it's able to work. I mean, it does work. It just needs a little bit on here. So we have the quantum ring. I've got two of them. There's one up here, one right here. This allows access to the networks. That one. Yeah. Yeah, this build right here, it is a monstrosity. It's complete overkill. You do not need this. Not something this size anyway. So now that we've gotten that taken care of, let's go over here to, I don't want to do power yet. Let's do machine rooms. Now this one right here is, I'm actually really proud of this one. This is the other side of that first quantum ring. That's right here in the ceiling that goes over to here. Now originally I was planning to do it so, yeah, here it is. It was originally planned to hide, to put panels here so to hide all the cables, but I decided that once I got done filling it out, I actually kind of like the look of it. Now, one of the things that I've talked about that has been problems is every time you log out and log into the game, you have to remake the connections back here. Uh, oops. Okay, there we go. You basically you have to come back here. You have to break the line, remake it. Otherwise, it's not going to see all the machines. I have yet to. I don't know why it's doing that, but it just you have to come back here and break it. It's a bit of a pain. But so yeah, these are all now connected and seen, and I'm actually fairly proud of the way it works. Over here we have the empower for actual additions. There's a transfer. There's a power node under this one that's branching out to these four things. I love these black and yellow stripes here, caution strips. Now this right here was my original power storage. I've long since updated to something newer. Then we have sag mills. We got a painting machine. This is basically an energy condenser. I was making some stuff. Alloy condensers, induction smelters, magma crucibles, fluid transposers, compactors, compressing factory. That's just a display block. These are the enhanced and sag and alloy mill smelters respectively. That's in case if I need to do something by hand, I don't have to wait. Soul binder, splice and slice, machine infuser, metallic infuser. Now, I'm actually rather proud of this setup. I automated making circuits and AE2 components. Now, granted, it's not the best thing, and I could probably fine tune this tremendously, but I'm actually rather proud of this because it automatically makes all the components you need for AE2. This is a compacting machine. This was making latex. Do I have? Oh shit! I don't have the. I gotta go get the B1. I gotta go get the controller for it. Where did I put the controller? Oh, there it is. I'll just fly up. Yeah, I started experimenting with compact machines, and I didn't do a lot with them. I made a few machines. They're not the best, but this one right here was to make latex. It basically it pulls items in, pulls trees in, it puts it down here, right there. It pulls out fluid via these four. Because you have a redstone clock that functions and it pulls it out. Puts a log and they break it down into fluid, which pulls it over here into this section for latex. Got a water source right here for water, and then once it makes latex, it pulls it back down and pumps it back out into the real world. Let me tell you, that was a bitch trying to get that to cycle properly. So then we come over here. This is the atomic reconstructor, architect's resonator, door factory. This over here is the extra utilities water mills. As you can see, I've got 8 of them plus 2 dragon egg mills. That's more than you'll ever need. You probably only need like 1 of those. Then we come into here to the draconic and crafting. As you can see, it's a tier, the chaotic tier, all 10 nodes. This can basically make anything you want. This is my crafting utensils and upgrade slots. And then over here we have another elevator. Yes, I did like my elevators. This is the shrink lab. I'm actually really, really pleased with the way this turned out also as well because it is absolutely gorgeous. Um, I actually had to raise the ceiling because it was too small and the shrink thing wouldn't work. But yeah, this is the shrink lab. This is the max you can make. I have never actually used it to that full size, but I wanted to go all the way. This is that is that's 88. That's pellets. ADPE or it's HDPE pellets or something. Yeah, HDPE pellets. I was needing that to make plastic. Um, this was for mechanism. I've never actually messed with mechanism except for this. I'll have to my next game that has mechanism in it. I'll have to do a little bit more research because I actually had a lot of fun doing this. I'll have to see what mechanism is really capable of. But yeah, that's making oak saplings. Is coming into here. That's being made into substrate. Substrate is then being used to make a HDPE pellets. There's like another step in here I cut out because that makes the substrate into more substrate, but I cut that out because I was kind of pressed for time. Coming out of here, and then that's the HDPE. This one was I was attempting to make a I could never get this one to work. I don't know what I did wrong, but what I was attempting to make was a wither skeleton spawner because I was needing wither skeletons. Um, Actually, more precise, I was needing withers, but I could never get this one to work. Excuse me. So yeah, there's that. What the system crash? Yeah, see, that's one of the reasons why I'm retiring the world because it's causing crashes. I've pushed it too far. Okay, let's log back in. Give me 1 second here. Do 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 do. Okay, so yeah, that's the building map. I actually really like this balcony I built. It looks amazing. Okay, so let's go back up to the main level. And we're going to come. Oh, there's one thing I forgot to show over here in the storage facility is where is fluid control. If you come over here, this right here, this is making cobblestone generator. That's making singularities. I have a cobblestone generator sucking it straight up into the system. Over here is fluid control. I have lava's been coming in into the system. I have water coming into the system. But then I have over here lava coming out of the system and water coming out of the system. And then I have jelly cryothium right here coming out. Excuse me. And then over here we have it's a stone maker. Basically you have cold chicken being made into tiny charcoal, which is going into this ultimate furnace, which is super efficient, along with a cobblestone generator. And it's basically making all the stone I'll ever need. Okay, so we've gotten that taken care of. Now let's go over here and talk about power. Now this, I'm proud of this. Now this is Sentinel. There's a couple things. Now, these right here are extreme reactors. These are absolutely huge. I got them sunk into the floor about another 8 blocks or so. But as you can see right here, these suckers are pulling out 56k each, give or take. Yeah, they're running full blast. I have yet to turn them off. They've got liquid cryothium in, or jelly cryothium in them to do that. This is deep storage. We're going to go here in a second. These right here are the base batteries. I've got 4 of them. Basically, everything is being on the base is being powered off of these things. You can climb up here, get on top to access. I mean, are these things? Yeah, those are full insertion, full empty, full blast. You come down here, and these things are really cool. I built these because I love the turbines. Now, please note, I have 8 turbines each side. Yeah, I've got 4 turbines on this side, 4 turbines on this side, all being powered by that monstrosity right there. Now, please note that I am very well aware of that this is inefficient. This is definitely not the best build I could have done. I could probably make this maybe like a fourth of the size and be able to power 2, maybe 3, not a problem. But I decided if I was going to do this, I might as well go ahead and do it full blast. This leads into the back part of it. I actually have it being powered by chickens. I have plutonium being pumped in, and then I mean this it's super efficient. Don't get me wrong. It burns very little fuel. But my 2 generators I got upstairs, those are pulling out 56k each. These suckers are pulling out, for 1 generator, it's pulling out 28k. And they are near as tuned as you can get them. I just thought they were cool. And it is burning. It's actually burning a lot. Like I said, this is I fully acknowledge that this is not. I mean, it even goes down a little bit. It's not as big as it can be. I think I've got the things pushed. Yeah, 30% insert. But yeah, I fully acknowledge that these are not. This is not super efficient. I could probably fine tune this a lot. But by this point in time, I had chickens up and running, and I didn't really care about the raw resources needed to power it. And it looks amazing. But yeah, those suckers are running full blast. I'm actually rather pleased. Come back up here. Okay, there's Sentinel. Now this is deep storage. So yeah, warning, restricted area. Danger, authorized personnel itself. Yeah, this is deep storage. And yes, you're counting that right. That is for draconium energy storage. What are they called? Uh, energy cores. These are 4 max tier energy cores. There is no way in hell you will ever be able to fill these things up. I've got 4 of them. Why 4? I have no idea. I decided if I'm going to jump the shark, I was going to do it the extreme measure. This is actually I dug out a big ass hole all the way down to bedrock. Yeah, here it is. And I put this is black luminous block, so you can't see it. I've got underneath the blocks, I've got magnum torches, so there's no spawns. And then right here you have my floating little thing. I was aiming for like the idea of it's an interdimensional ship that's made research vessel that's crashed, and this right here is their storage, and it's inside a pocket universe. I actually really like the way it turned out. I think it looks right. There's a warden, and then I have over here guardian. Now I'd like you to note something right here real quick. As much as I've been playing this game, you can see I've been playing it for quite some time. I've got what am I at? 126 trillion. Yeah, 126 trillion um, RF in the system. That is only 0.001%. I mean, I could power a city with that. Now, if you want to see what these things actually hold, that's how much they hold. Because that is like the highest energy you can get. Let's see here, million, trillion, quadrillion, centillion. What is that? Septillion? Nine septillion or something? But yeah, there's. I mean, right now I've got 25 million RF coming into the system. It hasn't even scratched the surface. But the way I've got these things daisy chained, so it's basically energy is coming into here into that one, coming into here, going out there, coming into this one, which is then coming over to this one, coming over to this one, and then finally ending up on here. That way, so they'll fill up one by one. It's kind of ridiculous. Now, right here is the cream of the crop. This is a rainbow generator. This sucker is making 25 million RF a tick, and it is constantly going. Now, I actually really like the room I've made for it. The only thing I don't like is the snow. I cannot figure out how to stop it from doing the snow gen. Not without, I mean, the only way I know how to do that is to basically put like torches everywhere, but that would ruin the appeal and the aspect of the build. So I just have to come in here every now and then and do it. Now, the way a rainbow generator works, if you don't know, is you need 16 other generators running at the same time to make this thing work. Some of them are fairly simple. I mean, this one right here is that needs snowballs. That's that feeds off disenchantments. That's like a regular furnace. That's a survival. That's an overclocked. These right here, those all run like normal furnaces. This is slimy. Which one is this one? That's halitosis, bad breath. Pink generator. I've got there's a weather one over there. There's explode TNT. Which one's that one? Ender. That's a death generator. Culinary potion, magmatic, heated redstone. And of course, you can go back behind it to see how it works. But yeah, so I have all the energy being pulled out, and that way it goes in there, and it works. It works. But yeah, I mean, right here, these are the basically everything's going to deep storage, which is going to deep storage 2, then 3, then 4, then 4 is going to the power the base. Why I did that, I don't know. Now this right here is basically is how everything is being run. This is making Eternalist fuel, which is from AE2. That is the only way I could find to get the overclocked one to work correctly, or be able to keep up with the overclock, because the overclock burns everything so fast it couldn't work. So I had to go to extreme measures. This over here is making slime, which is then pumping it into this one up here. It's making milk and slime balls to be able to run that. That's what the cows are for. That's making making buckets, which is making milk buckets, which is coming over here and making slime balls. This is making pink. This is making snowballs. These things are awesome, by the way. These transfer nodes. You can basically do it wirelessly. So if you have a GPS, so I have everything being pumped into those, which is then being pumped out to across the thing. And then we come over here. This is the other side of the equation. This one is making redstone. Then we have our lava generators, because the heated redstone needs lava and redstone. This one just needs lava. And then we have, this is making TNT, this is making nether stars, and this one is making rotten flesh for the death generator. Now I have got a turn off switch on here, that way if I do need to do maintenance, I can turn it off, since if you come near, that one will kill you, and the wither one will put a, give you the wither effect. So you need to turn them off before you can do maintenance on them. This one is making dragon's breath, this one's making ender pearls. These are making, one's making enchanted, the other one's making potions. I think this one's making enchanted. Yeah, this one's making potions. I'm actually really pleased to how these two turned out. Yeah, this one's making this is making potions. So yeah, right here we got sugar going into gunpowder, and then we have redstone, and then over here we have bottles, nether quartz, all being powered by chickens, and water being pulled from the from storage, and it's coming into here, and they're making basically all the same thing. They're making splash potions of swiftness. Excuse me. And then yeah, so it's these things, these potion brews, they're super cool. They make potions automatically, so you don't have to. They're not the best, but they fulfilled my needs, and they just go through it one by one and fulfill it. I'm rather pleased with how that turned out. It took me I think it was like a week of tweaking to get it to work right. And this over here, this is the enchanted. This one was nowhere near as complicated. I have chickens making solidified experience, which is going into these fluid tanks automatically. They're coming out, being sent into these fluid tanks, and I have it set up so it always makes it, which is then being pumped out, coming into a fluid dictionary, transferring it into fluid essence, regular essence, which is then being combined with books, which I have books being made right here to make random enchants. Those are then being pulled out of the system and then plugged into the generators. Overall, not a bad setup. Okay, come here. But yeah, I'm actually rather pleased with how this room turned out. Like I said, the only thing is these snow. I can't stand the snow. It's ruining the effect. See, what I was originally going to do was do it hiding behind the walls and do like a black void, which is this thing sitting in the center. But I decided I like the industrial look better. Okay, so that is being taken care of. Do that. All right, so that's power. Now we got two more levels to do. There's the sky deck, and then there's the habitation. This is habitation. We're gonna finish our tour up here. Now this right here is the sky deck. Yeah, this is skyblock, inverted skyblock. I love the way this turned out. I love the trees. I handcrafted the trees. I carved them myself. Made them and leafed them up myself. I love the way these things are looking over here with the pillars and the pylons and the end crystals. I love that. Now the reason why I did this is it has become something of a tradition of mine ever since I first started playing Minecraft Vanilla. Back when it was, before mods were a thing, and I was still playing Minecraft Vanilla. When I first played, the first major build I actually did was a water feature. I mean, beyond a hole in the wall and after that, I decided, my first build, I was going to do a water feature. And granted, at the time it was a very sucky fountain that I did it, but I made it. It was mine, and I was super proud of it. And ever since then, every Minecraft world that I've made, I've done a water feature of some type, whether it be a temple, a fountain, or in this case, what appears to be a mount summit, a floating island in the sky with lava. I actually I love the way this turned out. Now, it's not too impressive right now, but once it actually comes night, Actually, wait, hold on. Do I have it? No, I don't have that turned on. It becomes super impressive once it's nighttime in here. So we're gonna come back here and take a look at that here in a minute. Now this is for habitation. I love the floor. Now this right here, this is the Hall of Armor. Now, before we get that, let's start over here with Avarita. This is Avarita. This is how I was making Avarita. Now this is neutron collectors. I've got a lot of them. Um, extreme crafting tables. I've got transmutation tables, condensers. Uh, do that. Now this right here is how everything is being made with singularities to make stuff. Because if you don't know, Avarita is very expensive. Because yeah, these right here you need to make these things. You need these things to make these things. So, yeah, they need like thousands upon thousands of blocks to be able to do anything here. And then you need to do all this stuff to make a single ingot, which then you need to use that to make one of these. But yeah, you use that, and then you do that, and you make them using this method right here. So they're very expensive. And then to make any type of tools or anything like that, you need a crap ton. Now, all the Avarita tools I did make at least once. Now, but however, the Avarita armor, I do have 2 more sets of that floating around. I did cheat those in because quite frankly, it took me a week to make the first set. Now this right here is the Hall of Armor. This was my final project. It didn't quite turn out the way I wanted it to, but I'm still happy. This is every armor in the game. Fire clay, leather, and they're mirroring each other. So what you see on one side is what you see on the other. Hardened clay. That's why I need wax for, by the way. Chain, iron, gold, diamond, tin. Then we get right here into a thermal foundation. This is all the stuff from thermal. Then we have more thermal. Then we have mechanism. Now, I don't know if I actually want to try and do something like this type of project again, since this was a pain to get everything taken care of. Then we have immersive engineering, tiny progressions. But yeah, this was truly a pain. Now, the wither armor right here, I actually had I did have to cheat those in because to make those you need what's referred to as wither ribs. Yeah, you need these. And you use those to make the armor. They are dropped by withers. However, while they are enabled in the game, the ability to actually have them dropped is disabled in the configs. I actually did open up the config files and actually check, and the ability they can be generated in the game, but they can't drop for some reason. So instead of messing with the configs like that, I just decided to cheat them in. Dragon Scale Armor, Infernium, Mystical Agriculture, Supremium. There is no Insanium as far as I'm aware of. Cyclic, Redstone Arsenal, Psi. This is the whole reason I got into Psi, which is I needed Psi metal. Then we have Ender IO. There's Dark, Ender, and then Stellar. Botania, Mana Steel, Terra Steel, and Elementium, along with Mana Weave Robes. Then we get into Thaumcraft. And then there's Thaumcraft, Thaumium Fortress, Void Armor, and Void Thaumaturge. Now, it is correct, I did not get into Thaumcraft. However, I did get into Project E, which allows you Thaumcraft as they have EMC values. So once you get into Project E, there's an item called like the Book of Knowledge, I think. It basically gives you everything. Alchemist. Tome of Knowledge, there, yeah. You can make one of those. They're not cheap. I mean, you need Indus Pearl, Chaotic Core, and the transmutation table itself, which is by itself not cheap. And that can make you a book of knowledge, a tome of knowledge, which I use to basically get around needing to do Thaumcraft. I actually love the Void Thaumaturge armor. It looks really cool. I like it. Then we get into Project E armor, which is dark matter, red matter, and then gem. Then finally, we're ending up with Wyvern armor and Draconic armor, which is what I'm currently wearing. I'm wearing souped up stuff, maxed out all the way. And then finally, Infinity armor, which basically makes you creative mode, basically. I don't know why the head is like doing that. This portal leads, is a copy of the Avrita portal. It leads back to Avrita. That's a copy of the left portal. It leads back here. This basically leads back to the front. Oh, it's nighttime. Let's go take a look at the project up here. It actually gets more of an effect when it's nighttime. Yeah, once the stars start coming out, like what they're doing right now, oh, it looks absolutely amazing. But yeah, see how I said it looks better in the dark at nighttime? It looks amazing. Come on, where are the stars? I know they have stars. I saw it earlier. But yeah, as opposed to the bright blue sky, that dark background, it just feeds off it immensely. I just love the way it looks. Then finally, we come to our last part of the tour, which is living quarters in Project E. Project E is down here. I don't really need this, simply because I already had everything transmuted, but I decided to make it anyway. I'm kind of pleased the way it looked. Yeah, this is Project E, and I've got waterstone, lava, and then I have my power flowers. There are, the way I've got them set up there, they're drawing, there's phantom faces in the walls right behind the lava flows that are able to get the items out of here. And we come over here, it's split in half. There's a nature pylon, more ink crystals. I love these ink crystals, by the way. They're fun. Lava, power coils. Now, this right here is lava stone. Basically, it's this stuff right here, put through there. Unfortunately, waterstone does not have an equivalent. Otherwise, I would have used that. So I had to use packed ice, which works surprisingly well. I love the way this turned out. It looks really nice. And we're gonna come back up here. And we have one final stop before we're done with the tour. This area right here was like one of my last projects I did. I had it spread out through the base, so I just decided to condense it down. We can come up the tower one more time to my actual living quarters. This right here, we got Snad growing. I don't know where I saw, but I saw on YouTube some guy did like these little pots making potted plants using cauldrons and leaves. I really like that. I've got cactus growing in here. Don't ask me why. I don't know why I did this. Some kind of weird bath, pool, shower thing. I'm not really too sure what it was, but I like it. My living quarters. And then we come over here, and this is cooking for blockheads, which is a very, very nice mod. It basically makes everything super easy to cook. Now, I did have these spread throughout the base, or they were actually downstairs at the bottom level at one point in time, but I decided to not only move them, but upgrade them as well. This is everything as far as I'm aware of, this is everything you need to cook and make everything in the game minus the raw materials. Now, I was originally thinking about doing, like, behind here in the background of doing a way to get constantly have the raw materials just being grown or being made. But I realized that may not be the best idea since there's a lot of raw materials. Like here, and then we have the Cookie for Blockheads books. And I decided not to do that because one, as you've already seen, the base is already starting to get to get lag because there's so much going on. Then we come into here, into my library. Libraries are also something of a tradition of mine. I know I first made one. I've been doing water features longer, but libraries are also a fun time for me. And I was experimenting with pillars. I want to see how they look. They actually looked really, really good. And then we have, an enchanting table. Then over here we have Thaumcraft again. Now, and of course, last but not least is you may have noticed up here in the upper right corner that there is a lever. The reason being is because what Minecraft base is complete without some redstone. You would not believe how long it took me to figure this out. To make that a 3x3. Yeah, you would not believe how long that took me to figure that out. And of course over here we got a little bit more for redstone contraptions. We've got one for basically a floor switch. I mean, that's a fairly standard one. I mean, those are fairly easy to set up. And then over here we've got they got the music player along with some CDs in here. That by the way is the guardian fight music. It's nice. These two are my favorites. And of course we have shulker box switchers. That is actually upside down. I was messing around with shulker boxes trying to see if I can get it to work, and it works not quite the way I wanted to. I need to do some more research on how these things work, but I was wanting to see if I could make it switch, which I was able to. Granted, it needs a lot of work. And of course this right here. Those are fun. So I'm gonna come out, close it up. All right, and that is the end of it. That is basically everything I've created, everything I've done. Now, aside from like the 2 sets of Infinity armor and the 2 sets of Wither armor, everything in here has been handmade. I have not cheated in anything. And yeah, there's that. I don't know what my next pack I'm gonna play is. I mean I had fun with Stoneblock, but I don't think I want to do another Stoneblock type yet. I may do Skyblock or just a generic kitchen sink pack that just has everything in, just so I could play around, build stuff. But yeah, that is the world tour. I am going to probably, don't know if I'll put this up for a world download. If you want a copy of it, just put a link in the copy comments below, and if you like the video, be sure to leave a like and a subscribe. If not, well, I hope I can make some content that you will actually enjoy some of one part or another. Now, as we have finished the tour, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to go ahead and put everything in here. And this is Enhanced Resolution, and I'm signing off.